Hey everyone, we're here at the Data Innovation Summit in Stockholm. With me here is Mark Karmar from GRUNDFOS, who spoke here at the event on behalf of VaultSpeed, sharing his experience with the community. Mark, how are you looking back on your presentation, and what are like the key takeaways that people should have taken away from?
I think the key takeaways from my presentation is the note that in order to scale working with data, you need to think about automation, how you can make data available across an entire organization. It's not simple. And you're not going to be able to scale just with people. That's simply not the fast way of doing it. So automation tools like VaultSpeed can certainly help you. Similarly, having an enterprise data vault where you can actually put in your data from multiple different sources helps build a cohesion data infrastructure. Really, it's all about ensuring that you can actually get the data you need in a timely fashion and the quality you need to serve a business purpose. So driving value with data actually requires you to think smart, actually work with tools, not just people, and then ensure that you integrate stuff and not just build standalone projects.
Okay, so not throwing more people at the problem.
Not necessarily. It would, of course, more people helps, right? But more people and smart tooling helps even more.
Okay, get it. Good one. Yes. Out of the conference, and you haven't been with us at the VaultSpeed booth all the time, but what did you learn from the conference itself? What were your takeaways?
So my key takeaways is there is a move in the market towards more openness between vendors. So vendors are starting to look more into open standards like the Apache Iceberg to ensure that we can work with data wherever we see fit and actually build true value from it. So it shouldn't matter what infrastructure you're running, as long as you're running on these open standards, you should be able to leverage whatever is best for your use case. I think from my perspective, that's certainly a strong thing because it would allow us to choose the right tool for the work and not be dependent on the individual hyperscalers, as example, or being and on other larger companies where there might be better solutions in the market. I think a lot of the larger vendors are really stepping up. So they are showcasing technologies that take some of the capabilities to a next level, being able to work with data in a smarter way without having to move it around. That's always a nice thing. It's reduced risk.
It also helped the whole new wave of AI.
Yes, so GenAI has certainly been a topic with all the good and bad that comes from that. So there is a lot of hype about GenAI, but it's a very powerful tool that can help businesses drive true value. And it's something where the use cases are sometimes a bit more obvious. And I think that's really what is forcing this hype, that we can suddenly see what can AI bring to the table.
Yep.
Because simple things like looking into your data, getting instant feedback on business inquiries is something like it's easy to build a business case where being able to predict stuff, you need to understand what you need to predict, what you need to predict based upon, and what is the explainability behind it. Where getting an answer based on your data, that's pretty straightforward. But it's something where previously you need to have people who knew tech to actually do this. So now a member of the board of directors or similar would be able to go and say, hey, I need this information because we're talking about this now. And it would actually be nice to have. So I'll just ask whatever GenAI that you have put into your data platform, and there you have it. Of course, well, it's never that simple. There's a lot of work going into that before you have that solution, but it's suddenly much more available.
Okay, cool. You talked a bit about use cases. What I really liked about your presentation was the fact that you explained the value that the use case that you talked about was bringing to the table. How many users getting board, what satisfaction they can you tell us a bit more?
So in general, what we have seen with especially the solutions we're rolling out where we are running data board is it's really easy for people to understand that this brings value to them because suddenly the data is not whatever it's named in their original system. It's actually based on what we name stuff in GRUNDFOS. So that helps drive understandability of the data, which again improves the satisfaction with specific, in this case, a Power BI report. And the Power BI report that has not been around for that long has actually risen to be comparable to some of our large old Power BI reports that are used for reporting on our data quality and similar. And we actually now have a solution where it's like a relatively small audience that's actually using it to such a degree to make real decisions based upon it, that it's actually now top 6 used reports. So I find that to be pretty amazing. And it's also amazing that in a year they have gone from this is a new thing to have the trust to actually use the data product. and use the Power BI instance of the data product to make decisions. We are seeing the first few instances where the source of information comes from this data product.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic. Mark, thanks again for sharing here at the Data Innovation Summit. So bye everyone, and see you soon.